Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, post market report on this Thursday. What a crazy day this is. This is a day, honestly, I want you to remember because there are so many things that are coming together right now. Um, and I think this is about to get really wild. Let's start off with this market real quick. So we had a stock market that got hit pretty good across the board today. A clear fear trade. The knee-jerk higher in the dollar, despite what we found out with regard to the BRIC nations here. I mean that's enough to spark a little fear as well. But knee-jerk higher into the dollar, 10-year yield, 4.23. The MMRI, I wrote this down, sitting at about 273. We're kind of stabilizing here. You noticing that? Um, we'll see. Again, this is not a good spot. This is not a good spot to be in with regard to risk in this market. And it's amazing. I mean, ever since we crossed that, crossed the Rubicon here to 250 on the MMRI, this market has been in a world of hurt. And that hurt, I mean, we really could be at the beginning stages of something much, much bigger here. Let's just be very mindful of that on an economic standpoint. I mean, around the world, here in the United States, it's just over. It's a system that is dying before our eyes by design. This is deliberate. I mean, think about it. It drives me crazy when I think about the comedy of things that are going on. You got a global economy. I mean, round after round after round of bad economic news. It doesn't stop. At the same time, you got central banks raising rates, raising rates, raising rates. Again, no one gives a damn. None of our representatives are saying anything about it. Um, you know, just okay, just enjoy it, everyone, while we smack you across the face repeatedly, front and backhand, and just deal with it. Something interesting today that's starting to get attention here, and you and I have been speaking about this for quite a long time. Loan defaults are showing no sign of abating. In fact, they're getting worse. And this is a problem that's getting wrapped up right in this whole banking issue. The banks are in trouble. The banks have been in trouble for over a year now. When you and I pointed out what the root cause of the problem here was, Jordan, thank you. We'll talk about that. Where does look, eventually risk on is going to turn risk off, and there's going to be a time to sell these things as well, Jordan. And when we get there, we'll definitely talk about it. But I wouldn't even don't even go there yet. Anyway, banks are in trouble, massive withdrawals, bank runs are going on. You're not allowed to know this. They can't imagine for a second if CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business were to tell you in a direct way that there are runs on the banks and that people would flock. I mean, it would be over in a minute here, literally. Just like, when people are told that there's a big storm coming, they run out and they clear out the stores. That's what would happen. So this is a big secret to being kept from the people. There are massive bank runs going on right now. People are pulling their cash out of these institutions. Remember what I've been telling you. Don't be the last person out the door. Be first, be smarter, and we don't cheat. So you got to be smarter, which I think we are, or first. Get your cash out, okay, before another incident occurs here, a locking up of the system. Look, what I want you to start thinking about is, and looking out for, is a major crisis, a black swan, because of the events that are occurring with the BRIC nations, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Again, the threat to the dollar is so in our face right now, with a couple of other nations here that are hostile to the United States, rightly or wrongly. We got Saudi Arabia now, the UAE, United Arab Emirates. You got Iran here, and a few other nations that are going to be joining the BRICS here in 2024. I mean, it's just around the corner. And as you already know, do you think that this is going to play out well for, let's say, this system right now run by the Federal Reserve? No, it's going to lead to death, suffering, and war, and a black swan. Some other thing is coming down the pike. Just be ready for it. I know you are if you follow this blog. So anyway, as I was saying, starting to get attention. Henry Rafalona, thank you. Say no to face diapers, dude. I am on the same page as you. Absolutely. But again, going back to the banking problem, you and I have known about this before anybody else. That's a fact. Before anybody else. And this problem is getting worse and worse with these loan defaults. So how do you think it's going to play out? You think this is going to look good for the financial institutions? People are defaulting on their loans at their fastest pace ever. You're not allowed to know that. Across the board, credit card debt, household debt, personal debt, it's out of control. It's a credit crisis, a debt crisis, which we've been in since the last meltdown. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. But you see what's going on here, people? Again, look, I know for a fact that I'm talking to the choir. I'm preaching to the choir. All of you, Magic Mika, Perry, Geo Rider, Lava, all of you all know what I'm doing. You know what you're doing. I'm preaching to the choir, all of you. Lord Humongous, you too. Look, Physical Silver, exactly. He knows the answer, at least to try to stay on the right side of this. This thing is coming down. This thing is coming down. I'm going to say it one more time. It's coming down. So again, the economy, free fall around the world, the way just everything is converging. It's a set, not just two, which I did a video about recently. A whole bunch of perfect storms are developing here. And I mean, it's just a matter of time before they all really meet, and this whole thing kind of goes up in flames. And I mean, in flames. Trade wars, currency wars, they lead to hot wars. And with a global economy in the shape that it's in, it is dire. It couldn't be worse. Okay. And the stock market, although it has taken quite a hit since MMRI 250, we haven't seen a damn thing yet, people. Nothing. And I mean, zero. You and I watched this market, go beyond La La Land to some other yet to be defined place without a pullback, without a correction. And now it's starting to get a little bit real for people. Even Nvidia today barely finished positive after all the hype. Oh, Nvidia. People were like spraying their shorts all over the place. It did nothing. The stock did nothing. Make it up. Make it up. Anyway, going back to the market real quick, as I said, it was pretty much a pan sell-off except for crude. Crude oil is holding. Crude oil is holding just where you and I are expecting it to do. So again, for my crude oil bulls out here, yeah, I am a little nuts. Refineries, yeah, you can't go wrong investing, I don't think, in energy. But look for this. Look, this whole thing here. My best take on the current situation is what I've been saying for I don't know how long. You need exposure to commodities. Crude oil is a commodity. If crude, despite the pan sell-off today, gold and silver fell under pressure. Cryptos fell under pressure. Crude oil held its own. It held its own here. So, I mean, is it possible that crude could, I'm thinking 77, 78, we're around 79 right now. This is going to probably be a bottom. Is it possible that we fall through? Absolutely. If it does, we're going to look for another stop. But if we hold here and we start to see this move up, I'm telling you, we got exactly. Joey Sox gets it. Crude oil could go to the freaking moon. It's going to. It's just a matter of time of how this is going to play out. In my opinion, look, you and I have been calling crude oil so accurately. Again, look, we're not 100% right, and we're never going to be 100% right. But considering how you and I have called this, it's pretty profound, and I think we're right. Again, we're going to see this form a bottom. Could we fall through? Sure. I think likely that we're going to form a bottom here, and then we're going to go up. But we'll keep our eyes on this moving forward. Anyway, let's go back to this whole BRICS thing. Again, if you got to be deaf, dumb, and freaking blind not to see the alliances that are being put together here, the particular countries here, hostile, right or wrong, to the United States. So this is a direct threat. And it's, again, we're talking about human life here, okay? Your life, your children's lives. They will sacrifice millions. They have already tens of millions of people. The Federal Reserve, again, the enforcement arm of the Federal Reserve is, in fact, the United States military. The petrodollar exists for this reason. Now there's a clear danger here to the petrodollar. And this could end very, very badly. I have said, and I'm preaching to the choir here, the United States' greatest export product is inflation. We here in the it's also it's propaganda as well. I mean, we found out that today the Bureau of Labor Statistics admitted that the numbers are fake. The supposed jobs that we're not adding. It's not real. But again, I'm preaching to the choir. We all are well aware of this. Larry, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Um, Inflation, okay, we're exporting this to the world as, again, the Federal Reserve has the world reserve currency. And the rest of the world has suffered because of this, and now it's coming home to roost here, okay? Inflation is now engulfing the world. This is the European Central Bank. This is the Bank of England. This is the Federal Reserve. They've been, inflating, and they can't stop. You have to understand the situation here. And I know you get it. You have our so-called loving, caring representatives. All they're talking about is spending. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on the wrong side. All right. That's a fact. These are two heads of the same twisted monster. You understand? And all they can do is spend and spend and try to. They can't stop inflating, as we all know that. And they will make sure they continue to do so and find reasons to continue to inflate. Crisis to crisis to crisis. Every crisis requires even more cash to be pulled into the now. And that's where we're going. Yet another crisis, and it's going to be big. And I really think you and I need to start thinking even more so what it means here with what appears to me, Dodo Bird, exactly, a clear present danger to the dollar. Be very, very, if you live in the United States, be very, very careful what you wish for. I'm telling you right now, they will slaughter you, me, our children, our way of life, and everything to maintain the Federal Reserve, keep the world reserve currency. Now, I don't see this honestly unfolding like immediately. Again, with these new nations joining the BRICS, this is in 24. I mean, right around the corner here, and this, in my opinion, is going to accelerate. So the threat is there. It's going to evolve. And who knows what they're going to throw at us, people. Just be ready for whatever it is, because I can promise you it ain't going to be pretty. And it's not going to be a pretty situation here. So look for a black swan event. Honestly, what are they going to do? Another scamdemic, another convid? I have no idea. It's going to be something, and I think it's going to be. I wish we knew, but and it's going to be something else, because that's how we roll here. We can't have a normal functioning economy. Again, it must be crisis driven. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. But again, who am I preaching to? I am preaching to the choir, but all of you get it. I'm more than certain. Aliens and war. Yeah, that too. Alien invasion. Nothing would surprise me. Nothing at all. Nothing would surprise me as to what they're capable of doing to us. And I think, again, we're all on the same page here. Anyway, so I've been getting a few complaints here, and I want to. Although the complaint desk is closed, I'm going to elaborate on the complaints. The complaints are that I am not answering your questions here. So please, let's take a few minutes before I go and let me answer some questions. Where is Bitcoin going to? When? You mean it? I think you meant when is Bitcoin? Look, you know my take on cryptocurrencies. It's very, very simple. First of all, there's a lot of bubble talk with regard to Bitcoin specifically. Let me explain to you that how bubbles work. In order for any asset, there's a lot of criteria here, at least in Greg Mannarino's mind, which is out there. I can promise you that, but most of you know that already. There are several criteria that must be met for an asset to be in a bubble. Now let's just look at any asset. For any asset to be in a bubble, it must be widely held. Widely held means many people have to hold it. You understand? That's number one. Even during the height of the Bitcoin, what was it, 65,000, where it was, the entire market capitalization of the crypto space was about one DAO component. So it wasn't widely held then, and it's certainly not widely held now with this market cap. The crypto space cut in half. So there's no way you can say, I mean, this is not Greg Mannarino, okay? I completely disagree with what I'm about to say. But some people believe it's overvalued right now. I don't see that at all. my projection is how this is going to play out. Meltdown of the debt market, pressure on the stock market, cash bleeds out of the debt market. That's what's going on now. A sell-off here in the debt market. Cash is bleeding out, putting pressure on the stock market, just as you and I have outlined for a freaking decade, or longer than a decade. Cash eventually is going to make its way into commodities and cryptocurrencies, in my view. So where's the top? I don't know where it's going to, but I can say this with a high degree of certainty. With regard to Bitcoin and the large cryptos, multiples higher of what they are now. Eventually, people are going to run to these things again, looking for places to put cash. I think it's going to go into a lot of things as well. Artwork, musical instruments, things like people collect classic cars too, stuff like that. As cash seeks avenues to escape the situation. Again, cash never flies away to money heaven. It doesn't grow little money wings and just fly away. No, it just moves. It moves. You all know that. So just keep these things. It'll go into guns too. Guns, guitars, ammunition. Yeah, it's going there right now. Platinum. All right, let's cover. I happen to like platinum very much. I happen to like palladium as well. These, I think, here is Greg Mannarino's take on precious metals. All right, now you can ponder these things for yourself. Silver, to me, remains the most undervalued asset in the world. Second would be gold. Then you got platinum and palladium here running a pretty close second here, or third. All right, so that's my take on this. You're, of course, entitled to your own, but, it's pretty simple to me. I look at the Dow gold ratio, gold silver ratio, try to assume where the Dow is going to be. I think we're going to get a 1-to-1 eventually with regard to gold and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We don't know where the bottom is. I've covered this a million times. How about REITs? I don't invest in real estate investment trusts here. I think I think there's obviously risk here, especially in this kind of an environment. So I don't know if it's something I can't say it's a bad investment. You might want to actually talk to someone that does real estate on this more on a specific basis. In fact, I would probably bring up Chuck Barone. Chuck Barone is a guy who you all know Chuck, my friend Chuck Barone. Pass on that question to Chuck and see what he says about that. Anyway, let's do a couple more questions. As I've been saying, I've been getting a lot of heat that I'm not answering questions, and I do apologize for this here. Beanie Babies. Hey, you know what? Invest in Beanie Babies. Why not? Why the freak not? What is this back with physical silver? You know what? I don't believe that any of them are we've seen this before. There's supposed to be some gold backed, commodity backed, silver backed exchange traded funds. I want to hold it in my hand. I don't even think about it. It's pretty straightforward here. Marathon Oil. Look, here's probably something else you want to look at. JEPI, definitely. I'm still in this thing. I'm not running for the hills yet. I don't think there's any reason to. In fact, I'm looking for more opportunities to buy more cheaper at this point. I don't think. They're not going to pull the dividend here, and that's the dividend is a nice way to generate cash flow here. JEPQ. Okay, JEPQ is another one. Definitely more risky here. Okay, with this whole hype with AI and everything else connected to it. So I think the structure of JEPI is less risky, but JEPQ also not a totally bad place to be. Absolutely pay off your debt. Or, people look, large corporations renegotiate their debt every day. So can you. I did a whole video on how to do it. I break this down step by step, how to get yourself out of debt. Just Google this and follow it. Many people have, thousands and thousands, and they've written to me, Greg, you've actually changed my life. I appreciate what I've done. I put that stuff out, and I'm not Severna. I'm not even going to repeat that one, but you know what? Maybe sure. Go invest in that too. Anyway, all right, guys. Look, this is getting almost 20 minutes long. I did try to cover some questions here. I can't get to all of them. It's absolutely impossible. So maybe tomorrow we'll get to them. I hope I helped you out, all of you here. Again, ponder the things that we've spoken about here. I want to thank you. I got over 700 thumbs up for this video. And I really appreciate that. These are so important. You don't know how valuable those little clicks on that thumbs up are. It gets the videos out. It lets people hear the stuff. And I think, look, I think this stuff is gold. I think it's gold. People need to hear this stuff. They need to understand what's happening to them. People have no idea if you mention bricks to the average guy or the average girl, they think they're gonna, you're on your way to Lowe's to pick up some bricks to put up in your yard or something. They have no idea. You and I, we understand. We know what's going on here. We're staying ahead of the curve. I think we've done an outstanding job staying ahead of it. Thank you, Clever Custom Performance. Real quick, my sister Lori is okay. She's seeking treatment. She's seeing an oncologist. A whole bunch of people right now. I'll keep you on top of that. Thank you, Lord Humongous, Perry, everyone. I will see all of you tomorrow. As you say, tomorrow's Friday. Is it Friday already? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. We got through another week, at least almost. So I'll see all of you in the morning. All right. Love you a lot. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. And that's it. All right. Bye.